Hey everybody, Evan Siliuson here, founder of the Northwest School of Aromatic Medicine. And with the current events that are happening around the world right now, with the COVID-19 virus affecting everybody in some way, I wanted to share some insights with you that a lot of people have been asking me to share lately. You know, these are really intense and challenging times for a lot of people, and we're all trying to do our best to navigate the confusion and adapt to what's currently here and what's ahead of us. And a lot of us have been affected in many ways, whether it's the loss of a job or stress or anxiety and fear, or people actually being affected by the virus itself, or dealing with family who's been become sick, or even those who have lost a loved one from this virus, which, if that's your case, my deepest condolences to you. But I felt called to put together a short video to hopefully give you some things that you can easily do to take care of yourself. Some powerful tools to help your mind and your heart and your spirit, and even things that you can do to potentially protect yourself a little bit more and your loved ones from catching this virus. You might already put your trust and faith in the plants, which is likely why you're joining me here. But now more than ever, I think that aromatic medicine can help us out on just so many different levels. Aromatic plants have been called on during times of plague and pandemic for ages all around the world for a lot of purposes. Using incense and other forms of aromatics during times like the ones we're facing can just really nourish our nervous systems, can help us literally feel calm, can reduce our anxiety and stress, help us feel more grounded in times of intensity and uncertainty. It can also help us connect with ourselves on deeper levels and on spiritual levels, aiding our prayers and enriching any personal rituals we might have that might be giving us hope and faith and belief and that spiritual nourishment, which is really important. Countless aromatic plants also strengthen the immune system and are ideal for keeping our body's defenses strong. Fumigation and plant smoke are two of the most important forms of preventative medicine with aromatics, because they can help keep our air clean, the atmosphere, the air in our homes clean with virucidal and antiviral and antimicrobial properties. And when people do get viruses or colds, incense and fumigation and essential oils are just some of the most powerful and effective medicines for relieving respiratory complaints associated with these kinds of illnesses. From expelling phlegm from the lungs and the respiratory system in general, to soothing coughs and sore throats, helping to regulate breathing, helping to open the chest, clearing sinuses, all the way to calming the actual nerves and relaxing the body and mind, helping us out when we're feeling like crap. A lot of aromatic plants even help inhibit the proliferation of certain pathogens in our respiratory system when we get sick. So they're really built for defending our airways. Again, aromatic plants can help as preventative medicine when and if we do get sick from flus and colds as well, helping more with symptom control and helping us be more comfortable when we're sick. And they're also great nervous system remedies to help with higher levels of stress around these times. They can be great at strengthening our immune systems, and they're the most universal tool to nourish our spiritual side during times of challenge. So my favorite application of aromatic plants for this type of use is definitely incense, because as a plant's heated up with an ember in the form of incense, it releases its constituents that can neutralize and sometimes eliminate airborne pathogens, depending on, of course, the type of plant you're using and the strain of virus. There's also essential oil diffusing and fumigation. If you're not familiar with fumigation, it's where you add particular aromatic herbs that are chopped up and you add them to a pot of boiling water and let them simmer for an hour or so on the stove, which gives off a medicinal steam that fills your entire home and also enters your airways as you breathe it in. So before we get into things, I want to start off saying that currently there's no known cure for COVID-19, and there's been no research into the effectiveness of incense or essential oils on this virus. So in this video, I'm not suggesting any aromatics as a treatment or for protection against COVID-19 specifically. I simply want to list for you some of the most well-known aromatic plants and incenses that have been used for ages during pandemics all around the world and are still used today to defend against and to combat colds and flus and other viruses. If you get sick and things get serious, or you experience shortness of breath among other symptoms that are related to this virus, you should definitely contact your local healthcare professional, get tested and follow their guidance. Herbal medicine and aromatic medicine should only complement a treatment plan if you get sick and not be solely what you're relying on, because again, there's just not enough testing out there to tell us what works and what doesn't work in this case with plants. And it's best to not risk it with such a serious illness, especially if you're not a trained professional. Another thing I want to set straight is that there's plants known to be antiviral and there's ones known as virucidal. And a lot of the times these get really mixed up and confused. So first off, antiviral plants aren't necessarily able to kill all viruses like a lot of people believe. If a plant has antiviral properties, it means that it can inhibit the spread or the growth, the proliferation of a virus, basically keeping it from getting worse. And on the other hand, a plant with virucidal properties does have the ability to actually kill and destroy a virus. And with the lack of research that we have around which aromatic plants are best to use with which types of viruses out there, a lot of the times we're left to look back to history, to the plants that our ancestors used and to the plants that are in the history books used to treat and combat pandemics and infectious diseases. Okay, so first let's talk about preventative medicine. In addition to staying safe and being smart when you venture out in public, there's two main ways that aromatic plants could potentially help in the prevention of getting sick. First, there's a few plants that have been used for ages to help actually strengthen our immune systems, help strengthen our body's defenses. And second, there's a lot of plants that have been used for many other infectious outbreaks around the world to keep air clean by either inhibiting pathogens and sometimes even killing them, like we just talked about. Just remember that plants that work for one virus or that have worked for one virus in the past, they might not do the same for others. So plants like frankincense and myrrh, different citruses, lavender, thyme and oregano, cinnamon, clove, melissa and peppermint, different types of sage and sagebrush, star anise and ginger. All these are known to either inhibit or kill certain strains of airborne pathogens like colds and flus and other viruses. Most of these plants are virus specific, or they help neutralize a handful of pathogens. And again, there hasn't been enough testing with COVID-19 to really know for sure exactly which aromatics inhibit or kill this virus in the air in the form of incense or fumigation or essential oils. But all the plants that I just mentioned are the world's most used plants for keeping air healthy, keeping it cleansed during times just like this. In terms of symptom control, for when somebody actually gets sick, there's a lot of aromatics that are traditionally used for minor symptom management of colds and flus. Plants like eucalyptus, frankincense and myrrh again, lemon, peppermint, pine resin and pine needles, and a lot of other evergreens as well. And rosemaries are all examples of plants that can help expel phlegm, soothe coughs, kind of take an edge off a lot of the symptoms associated with viruses. And for addressing symptoms, one of the best applications is fumigation with steam, as I mentioned. But instead of just leaving a pot of boiling water on the stove, you'll take a pot of boiled water and aromatic plants and put them on the table, sit at a chair, and drape a towel over your head and the pot and breathe in that aroma deeply through your nose and your mouth for a while, a few times a day until your symptoms die down. And for regulating the nervous system and helping deal with stress, plants like lavender, frankincense, sandalwood, patchouli, These are some of the all-time best anxiety reducers and nervous system balancers. There's also bergamot and a lot of other citruses, pine and rosemary. So these are all really great nervous system remedies for those of us who are feeling stressed out about finances or stressed out about the possibility of getting sick, stressed about family, or just about the unknown future that all of us face. And for the herbs that actually help boost our immune systems, there's clove and cinnamon, lemon peel, a lot of the other citruses, again, eucalyptus, nutmeg, frankincense, a lot of the plants that I mentioned already. And a few of the classic immune boosting herbs are thyme, rosemary, and oregano. So I want to highlight a few top choices here for you and go into a bit of depth with a handful of herbs that are just good all around for a few of these areas I just mentioned. So first, let's take a look at eucalyptus. The eucalyptus is one of the most reliable aromatics for colds and flus, and it's actually one of the most common aromatics. It can be used as a fumigant or for steam inhalation, of course as incense or essential oil, and it's one of the best plants for reducing and relieving symptoms associated with colds and flus. Helping the respiratory tract and the lungs expel phlegm, reduce congestion, and helping kind of open up the airways in general, making it easier to breathe, and also really great for relieving colds as well, coughs as well. And in studies with many other viruses in the past, it's been proven to actually be an effective inhibitor that can significantly reduce respiratory infections. And it's also been shown in studies to eliminate airborne influenza droplets in 15 minutes when it's used as incense or fumigation or diffused as essential oil. So if anybody ends up getting sick with a cold or flu any time of year, aromatic plants in general are one of the best defenses in preventing other people in your home from getting sick as well. Just think about it. A lot of pathogens, any pathogen that's airborne, their targets usually are lungs and our respiratory systems. Now the air is the domain of aromatic plants. So, why not use their medicine in our atmospheres to keep things clean and safe? This is one of the things that aromatic plants are best at. And some hospitals, surprisingly, have even begun using aromatic plants over the years in their air duct systems to reduce the spread of different pathogens. So, why shouldn't we do this at home too? So eucalyptus could be a really great plant to have on hand in the form of incense, essential oil, or raw leaves to use in fumigation. Not only have fumigation and incense been used traditionally to stave off airborne infections, but they're also really helpful when you do get sick, because you're taking in the aromatic medicine directly into the airways and into the respiratory system where many types of colds and flus are rooted. So eucalyptus has also been shown to strengthen the immune system by enhancing the process of key cells that destroy harmful pathogens or viruses in our bodies. So eucalyptus is an all-around awesome and super helpful plant. So my next favorite incense I want to talk about is frankincense. Frankincense is historically documented for being used to prevent airborne pathogens. Since the time of the Black Plague, used as incense. Not only does its smoke and vapors have the ability to inhibit or kill multiple types of airborne viruses, but it's also widely used to treat colds and flus and address the symptoms that accompany them. Helping people feel more at peace and just overall just comfortable in their bodies when they get sick. In terms of symptoms, frankincense is amazing at opening the breath and relieving constriction when the lungs and respiratory system feel really tight. And it also has potent expectorant properties, and it's used to treat basically all respiratory complaints from bronchitis to asthma to sinusitis and laryngitis and a lot more. And it's also one of the most effective incenses for relaxing and revitalizing the nervous system. So for people who've been stressed out or anxious or fearful lately, frankincense can be a huge benefit. On top of that, it's considered to strengthen the immune system as well. And it's especially useful when nervous depression has weakened somebody's immune system. So I feel a lot of people that fit that description would really benefit from frankincense right now. If you're not too familiar with frankincense, it's known as an oleogum resin. So it's part gum and it's part resin. And it's one of the most well-known and most well-loved incense resins in the world. So super popular, which unfortunately has forced many of its species onto the path towards endangerment. So you really need to be careful where and who you get it from. I mean that. Most sources that sell frankincense, even the ones that you trust, even the ones that are doing good work, they're selling frankincense that's being harvested in unethical and unsustainable ways. So you really need to make sure if you do use frankincense that you confirm that it's cooperative owned or cooperative sourced sources that practice true sustainability and plant stewardship and of course fair trade. If you don't see all those terms on a website you're thinking about buying frankincense from, please, close your browser tab and move on to somebody who's really trying to do their part to actually help the frankincense situation instead of making it worse. So try to track down somebody who's supporting frankincense cooperatives. One of these confirmed cooperative sources is Apothecary's Garden, who I'm not affiliated with, but I just know what they're doing and I appreciate it. So the next aromatic I want to talk about is lavender. Lavender is an all-around awesome aromatic plant. It fits the bill for any of your pandemic needs. It's one of the most useful and widespread herbs for the nervous system. So it chills you out, helps you feel calm, helps you think straight again, and it can even help you get a better night's rest if if your nerves feel jacked, or even if you do get sick and your symptoms are keeping you awake at night. It's also really great for symptom control, and it's an effective immune booster as well. Again, this is another plant that's been used for ages to fight off airborne pathogens as well. So, we consider it to be a preventative medicine like frankincense and eucalyptus. So you can burn lavender, you can fumigate it with steam, you can diffuse its essential oil, or honestly, if you have lavender growing around you or in your yard even, like a lot of people do, you can just cut fresh lavender flowers every couple days and put them in every room in your house. So you're breathing in the medicine. Lavender is filling your home and your air all day. And it's a little bit more of a subtle way, but your house will smell amazing too. Just be warned, you might end up wearing your pajamas all day and doing nothing but laying on the couch, which who knows, maybe you're already doing that these days. But lavender is really calming and it puts you in a state of total relaxation. So if you're looking for that, then lavender is your herb. So the last plant that I want to talk about here is one of the most classic European medicines for times like we're in right now, oregano. Oregano is one of the most effective plants for inhibiting and killing airborne pathogens and viruses. So it's a great preventative medicine. It's been used all across Europe for thousands of years as incense and in fumigation to stop the spread of infectious diseases and viruses like the Black Plague and other more modern viruses. Again, like all the plants I've talked about here, we don't know exactly which plants are able to kill the COVID-19 strain specifically, but I feel nature always seems to have a solution, especially if you have a lot of faith in the plants. So I'd be willing to bet a few of our most loved aromatic plants, some of the ones I mentioned too, likely have the ability to help us out at this time, but there's no confirmation on that. Oregano is also a great medicine for when we do get sick. In general, it's considered a classic respiratory aid, and it's used for a lot of different complaints and symptoms associated with colds and flus. Specifically, it's helpful in reducing symptoms of the upper respiratory tract, like sore throats and hoarseness, coughing, really great for sinus infections, and it can actually fight off and help kill any bugs that have rooted in your respiratory system or lungs. And on top of that, like some of the other jack of all trade herbs I mentioned already, oregano is also an immunity booster. So if you want to put your faith in thousands of years of herbal tradition and medicine wisdom, oregano definitely has a lot of benefits that more people could be utilizing right now. So on top of herbal and aromatic remedies to help out in the areas of preventative medicine and immunity and nervous system health, doing simple things that we all have known all along that are good for our health only makes the jobs of these plants easier, and it makes us feel healthier and strengthens our body's defenses all around. And I'm talking about exercising or walking every day in nature if you can, just eating healthier, eating quality meats and a lot more veggies, drinking enough water, drinking herbal teas throughout the day, and going heavy on herbs and spices in your cooking, taking vitamin C. Things like this are just so important for our mental and physical health. So that's just other things that we can do to accompany what I'm talking about here. And one last thing that I want to mention, I think with all the misinformation and the panic out there online over the past couple months, it's just really important that people do a little bit more research about health and wellness tips that they learn about or read about or hear someone talk about. For instance, one thing that keeps coming up that I want to make clear is that people should not be ingesting essential oils unless you go to a certified clinical herbalist or clinical aromatherapist. It's actually incredibly dangerous, and it can eat away at your health and your digestion tract, and many other bodily systems over time. In my many years of advanced aromatherapy training, I've never before come across a case where ingesting essential oils was necessary. Most holistically trained clinical aromatherapists will actually never prescribe a patient to take essential oils internally in their entire practice. In fact, the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy has been trying to communicate this to the public for years, but a lot of corporate essential oil companies just continue mass marketing campaigns kind of aimed at the ingestion of essential oils, telling people that it's okay to do and it's actually a good thing, writing blogs about it, different posts about eating essential oils daily or putting them in your smoothie, stuff like that, which is just really dangerous and it's unnatural. These are really potent chemicals, super potent extracts. Sure, they're natural, but by no means are they natural in how incredibly concentrated they are. Just think that if putting a drop of undiluted essential oil on your skin can burn your skin, how could that be safe to ingest? This is just a caution I wanted to share with you because I've unfortunately seen a lot of improperly trained people or just people who aren't trained at all writing about this. And I don't want to get too carried away on this tangent here. So I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. Aromatic plants and incense have been one of the most reliable medicines for humans for thousands of years. And, we need to keep our faith strong in them. If you have incense or aromatics at home already, maybe you have a nice stash of certain herbs or resins, definitely start pulling them out and start using them. And, don't forget about these really special allies that we have. And above all else, take care of yourself. Keep being smart, when you venture out in public. And by all means, if you're a healer or aromatherapist or an incense practitioner or herbalist, this is your time to shine. This is your time to share your knowledge and your wisdom and your views, to share your medicine, and it's your time to strengthen your relationship to nature and to the plants. For me personally, I've been implementing a lot of change into my life and my work and my teachings and distilling what I can from this really weird and intense time that we're facing. And what I keep coming back to is that, this is the time for all of us to step it up, to bring our teachings and our knowledge and our compassion and care for others and our visions for a better world and better living forward for ourselves, for our families, and for our communities and for the world and for the earth. Over the next few weeks and months, just, keep telling people, what dreams and visions and transformations and passions that have arose for you recently, are you gonna, are you gonna stick to them? How are you gonna keep putting yourself out there to promote positive change and transformation in others? as plant people and healers, it's really up to all of us to hold true to our responsibility and uphold our oath to the plants and to nature to share their teachings and their medicines right now. So with that being said, I hope you found some useful tips in this video to put into action. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay sane and inspired, and I'll see you next time. Take care.